Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a pick a card reading on what the rest of 2023 is going to bring to you or the rest of the year. And the idea is that we're going to cover different aspects of life as well as get a general reading and yeah, just basically see what is in store for you. And it doesn't matter whether you watch this when it first goes up or whether you see this later on down the line, it will still be relevant to you. So we have 3 piles to choose from. Pile 1, we have this purple bracelet to choose from. And the deck that we'll be using is, I think it's the Magical Mermaid. I will double check and I will pop that underneath. And then for pile 2 we have this green bracelet with the Mystical Dreamers tarot. And then for pile 3 we have this pink bracelet. So feel free to pause the video if you need to, and your timestamps will be in the description box below, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there my pile ones, welcome to your reading. So I'm going to actually pop your bracelet on while I do your reading for you, and we're going to get into the tarot in a moment, but first of all I want to look at some oracle cards which are going to give us an overview of your current energy and situation, where you are at the moment. So we have Fairy of the Highlands, It's Time to Be Brave, with number 20. And we have Waxing Gibbous 2 with Fear. And Commitment. And for your angel, we have Archangel Jeremiah with Reflections, Dreams and Visions. So let me just adjust these. At the moment with where you are, there's a lot of fears and possibly limiting self-beliefs coming up for you. There's a sense of not being happy with where you are and knowing that you've quite possibly been in maybe a people pleaser type energy, or you don't like where your decisions have led you to be at the moment, but you're being called to take this time to reflect on where you are, what it is that you actually want from life, and just really kind of reflect on those fears as well, as to whether they are old or new, where they're coming from, because a lot of times, that as humans, we are wired to experience fear and see the negatives in life and situations because it is a protective mechanism. And there are good fears. There are the fears that keep us out of danger and keep us safe. But then there are also the fears that hold us back and maybe a form of an outdated belief system or something that no longer serves us in some way, something that isn't relevant anymore. But because it's so deeply embedded in us, we're still acting from that particular fear and that place of fear. Whereas it kind of feels like it's time to look at those more closely and make a commitment to yourself and your dreams and what it is that you want to bring in, so that you can shift your focus onto those. You may find yourself already feeling like that and already being in that sort of energy, or it's something that you are stepping into in the near future, because you are being called to be brave and to step forwards. And although you may be avoiding conflict, and wanting to kind of keep the peace with everyone, and because it may feel like it's not safe to push against boundaries or to assert your own boundaries in a situation because of you wanting harmony, but it's causing this kind of sense of dysregulation and disharmony within yourself because you aren't being authentic to who you are. And there is a need to make that commitment, or you're making that commitment to yourself at the moment, because it feels like it's something that you're quite possibly aware of, but you're still in the thick of it and still working through it and still working out how exactly you want the future to look for you and what direction you want to be going in. It feels like there's a decision that you're making at the moment. If you are called to work with angels, or you already do, then working with Archangel Jeremiah will be particularly helpful for you right now, because he works with us in a way to reflect on things, reflect on our life, reflect on our purpose and what we want from life. Because if we're not careful, we have a tendency to kind of get to the end of our lives and then we look back on all the things that we wished we'd done and hadn't. But we don't have to wait that long before actually taking that opportunity to review life and to review what it is that the experiences that we want to have. It's not so much about the material possessions and things like that, but it's the experiences, because it's the experiences that we really grow and evolve from, not so much the physical possessions and status and things like that. It's the experience of it. So by focusing on that and what experiences you want to have, that kind of feels where you're at the moment. Like that's where your energy is and what you're going through the process of at the moment. So if you want angelic support, then this would be the angel that you need, or is already working with you, quite possibly. So we're going to get some tarot just to kind of get a general overview of the energy of the end of the year for you, and then we're going to look a little bit more deeply at your relationships and love and career or studies, and also spirituality as well, and then we'll get some advice at the end. So this might come out a little bit longer than usual. I have no idea, because we've obviously not done this before, but either way, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you being here and letting me read for you. So, oh, and we have a jumper already. 8 of Wands. Yeah. So things are going to pick up pace. There's going to be communication. This may signify you communicating your own desires, wants, wishes, boundaries as you step up and learn to communicate more fully, because you don't have to be confrontational in communicating your wants and needs. It can be quite just a simple statement, and just kind of staying with it and not allowing yourself to be budged and swayed in a situation. What else, please? My pile ones. And we have 4 of Cups, Devil. Yeah, you may feel quite trapped at the moment with where you are and feeling like there isn't a way out, but the universe is there, that it's offering you another cup, but you need to be able to look up and see it, because if you're in this fear energy, then you're going to be feeling like you can't see anything other than where you are right now, and that real sense of being trapped. Be careful of overindulging and anything that may be addictive in an unhealthy way, because it can be quite easy to sort of rely on things as coping mechanisms, but they aren't necessarily helping us to change where we are or doing something in a healthy, or I say healthy addictions. There are things that we can find addictive that are they're not supportive in us developing a healthy relationship with ourselves and others, like alcohol, drugs, those sorts of things, depending on how they're used. Obviously I'm talking about addictions at the moment, and there are things that are viewed as a more healthy kind of thing, which can also be addictive. So eating healthy, working out on a regular basis, because it gives us those endorphin boosts and things like that. But there are all sorts of things that can be addictive, even shopping, watching TV, those sorts of things, anything that kind of takes us away from dealing with the immediate situation. And especially when we have this guy here sitting surrounded by bottles and has clearly been drinking and is intoxicated. So if you're finding yourself partying too hard and you're using it to escape these feelings, these fears, and making that commitment to yourself, then it feels like that's going to be changing. That's going to be something that you're working with for the rest of the year, to work through and to kind of almost make those changes and see them. It's more about seeing them for what they are than making changes. What else, please, Spirit? We have the King of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, it's the rest of the year. There's going to be an element of finding that emotional, I was going to say emotional maturity, but it's getting that mastery over your emotions, over these fears, and feeling the fear and doing it anyway, so that you can begin to seek those practical steps that you can take and that knowledge that you need about yourself to really be okay with where you are and who you are, and being okay on your own. It doesn't feel like this is going to involve a lot of other people. It's more about the inner work that you're doing and learning how to emotionally support yourself and taking those practical steps. Yeah, with the Queen of Wands on the back of the deck there. Reigniting those passions and being true to yourself. That's what this year is, the rest of the year is about for you. And it just really feels like a sense of stepping into who you are and being okay with who you are, because you may not feel like that at the moment. You may be worried about other people's judgments for the changes that you want to make and other people's opinions, whereas it feels like you're going to be working through those through the rest of the year. Because a lot of times when we want to make changes, we allow our perception of the situation and our fear of judgment and what other people will think to kind of rule what it is that we're doing and how we show up in life and in the world. Although when we actually implement the changes and start making them, like with these pentacle cards that we have coming up for you, and really looking at it practically and taking those action steps, a lot of times people don't actually say anything or don't get involved, and don't pass any judgment on it. It's just in our heads and how we're perceiving things. So things are going to be changing. It's this energy that you're in right now, although you're working through it through the rest of the year, it isn't somewhere that you are going to be stuck forever. And you may also find that while you're in this process, you want to focus on your home and that comfort and warmth. We're going into the winter months anyway in the Northern Hemisphere, depending on where you are. But for those of you watching who are going into those darker months, and it's a time to withdraw anyway and do inner work if you follow cyclical living. The same as what the plants are going to be doing when we get into that part of the year. Although it doesn't feel like it right now with the heat wave that we're having here in the UK, but you may find that you want to focus on your comfort, your home comforts, and making everything really warm, snuggly, nice for the colder weather. It's making me think of scented candles, fluffy blankets, and really kind of snuggling down and allowing yourself to rest and focus on your own well-being as we go into the darker months. But we're going to use these oracle cards. So we have an oracle card and a tarot card for each section that we're going to be looking at. So we have love and relationships, career and study, and spirituality. And we're going to see what they're reflecting for you for the rest of the year. So we have get more information and the Two of Pentacles. So if you're dealing with a relationship, and there's a relationship in the mix here that you're dealing with, you're being asked to make sure that you find balance within yourself and the information that you have, whether it be that you need to get more information about this person, or it could also be your relationship with yourself. You are finding that balance and information within yourself as well, because this isn't just external relationships like with other people. This can also be your relationship with yourself as well. But you're going to be finding that balance and gaining that information. And with the moon being here as well, it feels like things that have been hidden from you are going to be illuminated. So it could be shadow aspects of yourself or another person, but it feels more like it's about your relationship with you right now. Or if it is involving other people, then it's about finding that balance between your own needs and inner work and being there for other people. And really kind of digging deep. You may find that you also want to read more, or there may be a particular book that is jumping out on you that would help support you with this as well. There's a couple of books that are kind of being shown to me in my mind's eye. There's one that's called The Body Keeps the Score, and there's a couple of Gabor Mate books that are coming up as well. So Scattered Minds, which is to do with ADD, and When the Body Says No, which is to do with stress, and which is one that I haven't actually read yet. But that's kind of that the cover is being shown to me, so they may be books that would be beneficial to you, pile one. And for career and study, we have Choose a New Direction and the Hanged Man. So you're going to be reflecting. It may end up being part of the information that you are receiving, but there is something about you're going to be gaining a new perspective on the situation, your work situation or your studies and careers, and you may find yourself choosing something new or going down a different path that you hadn't imagined as you're working through these fears. It's like you're tapping into different aspects of yourself, and the self-realization that maybe the direction that you've been going in isn't true to who you are and isn't authentic to who you are, and how you want to serve the world and show up. Because everything we do, if you're spiritually minded, which you most likely are because you're watching a tarot reading, but it has that ripple effect and how we're all interconnected. So you may have opportunities come to you as well as you're doing this reflection and gaining new insight, or there may be something, an offer or an opportunity that comes up that helps guide you in this new mindset and seeing things from a different perspective. And for spirituality we have yes, and the Hierophant, which is all to do with spirituality and tradition, the traditions of spirituality. Sorry about that. For some reason the recording cut out, but I'm not quite sure how far we got. But with yes and the Hierophant, so I apologise if I'm repeating myself, but there is this thing about tradition and saying yes to your own spirituality and your connection with the divine, however that looks for you, whatever spiritual path it is that you are following. And there is an element of strength there as well, because I'm being drawn to the infinity symbol on the Hierophant, which is also making me think of the strength card as well. So there is something about having that courage to really connect with your spirituality and yourself and saying yes to that part of you and who you are, the traditions that you want to follow or new traditions that you want to begin in regards to your spirituality, and really allowing yourself to connect with that. And I'm being drawn to how many moons there are on the cards that have come out, because we have an almost full moon as a waxing gibbous, as we know, full moon, full moon, full moon, and then we have waxing crescent, I think, possibly some kind of crescent moon, either waxing or waning. But so there may be something about cyclical living, working with the moon, moonology, living in harmony with the phases with the moon, and which will also link with the seasonal changes and just cyclical living as a whole, because of everything going in cycles, and connecting more deeply with nature maybe as well. If you are into, this is going to be really specific, so it may not be relevant to all of you, but there is something coming through to do with herbology and working with plants. This could be just as a herbalist, something that interests you and that you want to do. We're also at the point in the year where if you are already into things like that, you may be harvesting your herbs and fruits and plants and things like that that are coming to the end of their season at the moment. I'm being shown herbal teas as well, so it may be something that is of interest to you, or something that you are thinking about or you'll find yourself looking into. There could also be an element of working with them in witchcraft purposes as well, and really bringing the magical properties and energies of the plants that may be local to you or that you have grown in your garden. I'm also being shown moon water as well, making full moon water for magical purposes, so that may be something that you are drawn to work with. in your spirituality, and crystals as well as something else that's coming through. And it's really kind of allowing those to kind of bud and grow and nurture them. Those practices and things that you are drawn to. It doesn't have to be the practices that I've spoken about, it's just what Spirit's showing me. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Don't let the rest take from you. But those are what are coming through for you in your spirituality for the rest of 2023. So I want to use a couple of oracle decks to get some advice for you. We've got 2 different decks that we're going to be using. So these are dream cards. So Spirit, what messages of advice do you have for my pile 3s, please? Messages of advice for my pile 3s. We have relax, meditate, or do something simple in order to set your subconscious mind free. Be conscious of how your inner wisdom arises. You need to learn how to read all kinds of information on your journey towards your dreams, not just your thoughts or the assumptions of your rational mind. So yeah, it's all about tapping into that intuition, and this could be linked with your spirituality as well, and that element of intuitive cyclical living and knowing what it is that you need to be doing, regardless of which area of life, because it could be work as well, but just generally using your intuition and trusting your intuition as well, trusting those gut instincts, because your inner power and strength and courage is all going to come from your own intuition and trusting your gut instinct over other people's opinions, because only you can truly know what's right for you. And we also have find clues to help you get nearer to your dreams. Remember, the best clues are often disguised. What clues can you find today? So, and that's making me think of not just intuitive nudges, but signs and things from your angels and guides. So yeah, just kind of look out for things, and also within yourself as well, because there's a lot of inner reflection going on. So what intuitive nudges and things are you being guided to or interested in, but you don't necessarily think that anything can come of it? It's worth checking it out and just kind of exploring it and treating it as an adventure rather than having any expectation. And on the back of the deck we have close your eyes and think about your dream being alive and real. How do you feel? Cherish this feeling and keep it as your compass. Follow it. And I love that. If you are into law of attraction practices, then you will know that that is one law of attraction practice, is to allow yourself to drop into what it is that you want and how it would feel, how you would act, behave, how you would be showing up in life if it were actually here and real and happening and tangible. What would you be doing differently? Would you dress differently? Would you get up at a different time? How would your day look? What other activities would you be doing that you aren't already at the moment? How would you feel? Like how does that whole lifestyle make you feel? And would you be stronger in your body if you're working out more? Would you dress differently? I think I've already said that. But you know, all those different ways of how you would be showing up differently. So what else, please, Spirit? What other advice do you have for my pile ones, please, for the rest of the year? And we have solitude. Yeah, that was kind of a general theme that's been coming up for you. Think of being alone as meaning you are all one and in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasures are those that wait silently during your quiet times. So this could be getting out in nature, building that that comfortable home that I was talking about earlier with the Queen of Wands energy that came out for you, and really enjoying that time on your own and having that solitude and time for reflection and healing, because it feels like you are doing a lot of internal healing at the moment for the rest of this year. What else, please? What other guidance do you have for my pile ones for the remainder of the year? And that one wants to come out. So we have tree wisdom. This tree dryad will help you navigate through your current situation. Her flute can reveal insights and answers through the sounds it makes. So you may find meditation music helpful, being out in nature while the weather's still good, which hopefully it is where you are. And really kind of connecting. If you can't get out to nature for whatever reason, then you can look at bringing nature in through plants and even herb boxes, window boxes and things like that. If you are drawn to use plants and herbs as part of your spiritual practices, then if you don't have a garden or outdoor space, then you can look at bringing those in and having window boxes and things like that. Maybe it could also be helpful. And if you can get out in nature, I don't know if you already do this, but maybe just hug a tree. Because we can tap into their energies as well through trees, and yeah, and obviously music is what it's talking about as well. Or you may actually find that you are drawn to learn the flute or some other kind of shamanic drum work, or thumb drums, anything that's kind of spiritual in nature when it comes to music and instruments. So yeah, there may be something unusual instrument wise that you are drawn to work with or listen to or learn. And on the back of the deck we also have inspiration. Be prepared, as you'll soon receive a visit from the fairy of inspiration. Come dusk or dawn, she can call at any time. And that feels like that's what you're going to be stepping into as you're working through this and gaining those new insights and doing that inner reflection. It's going to open up your inspiration, and the intuitive nudges that you're receiving, they're going to become clearer and more obvious. It feels like they're going to be more... It's not that they're going to change and become more in your face, it's just that you're going to be able to see them and feel them and experience them much easier than what you have done in the past. So I think that's all I have for you, my pile ones. Thank you ever so much for letting me read for you. I hope this is helpful and that you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I'm sending you so much love. Thank you ever so much for being here. And obviously please feel free to like, comment or subscribe if you feel like doing so. I'd love to have you as part of my notification squad. And if you've liked this, then please give it a thumbs up so that I know that we're going in the right direction with the type of readings that we're doing, because it's all feedback for me while I'm learning and growing, and the channel's learning and growing. So, but yeah, I hope that you will come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi pile 2, welcome to your reading. So I'm going to pop your bracelet on. Got a little collection going here. Before we get into the tarot, we're going to look at some oracle cards which are going to be your overall energy, and then we'll use the tarot to get some advice. So we're going to use these for just to kind of see where you're at the moment, and yeah, so you can kind of use it as an energy check if you want to. But we have carnivorous flower fairy, a tempting offer has a high price. And we have waxing gibbous 3 with boundaries, and the number 12, and we have the number 38 as well in case they're significant. We also have compassion, you've got 2 of these, and answers. And for your angel card we've got Baba Yaga. So at the moment, it feels like you are seeing, you're seeing where your energy has been going and has been kind of consumed by others, whether it be that you have naturally grown up a people pleaser or you found yourself people pleasing, but you've been working on your boundaries and seeing where your energy is being drained or expended in a way that isn't conducive to your well-being, and hasn't been supporting you. So it feels like you've been kind of simplifying your life and cutting back on things or situations or people that aren't serving you at the moment. It's not so much about breaking away and ending things. It feels more about how to conserve your energy, simplify your life, cutting things out and back so that you can focus on your well-being rather than everything kind of being consumed. And stress reduction feels quite prominent as well. So you may find that you've been working on, I'm just repeating myself, but it is putting those boundaries in place so that you are protecting your energy, protecting how you are spending your energy, who you're spending it with, what you're spending it on, reducing your stress levels, possibly cutting down on social media or how much time you're spending online, and starting to focus on your own self-compassion, following your own intuitive nudges and guidance that you're receiving, whether that is whether you're seeing angel numbers or seeing feathers. There's like signs and synchronicities that are coming up for you that you may have been following recently, or that you're beginning to see and starting to follow. And there is something about reclaiming your power by doing this, because Baba Yaga, she's very much about the duality between the light and the dark. And as the keywords on the card here, we have destiny, the witch, the wise and wild woman. And it's really about tapping into that intuitive and inner knowing. And it's almost that thing of, it may not be relevant to all of you, but there is that sense of reclaiming your birthright and the inner power that you were born with, because it's something that gets dampened down in us, and where we feel like we need to conform to society and what other people expect of us. And it's about being true to yourself and reclaiming that, reclaiming your own power and sovereignty, and really stepping into who you are. Baba Yaga is where does she come from? Hold on, I will double check, because I now can't remember to pronounce it. My brain has just gone completely blank. But originally she was seen as someone who was quite dark and would devour people. Slavic myth. So she is from a Slavic myth. And yeah, she was an old witch who ate people. But yes, while she still has the potential to harm, she's also got a really strong potential to heal and comfort. And it's something that I'm kind of picking up on intuitively. It feels like a lot of witches are kind of reclaiming that word, witch, because there's been so much fear around it, and it's been treated like it's a slander and something very negative and dark, whereas there's been more of an uprising and people taking back that word as a word of power rather than something to feel ashamed of or something that is scary and dark, and pardon me, really kind of tapping into the power and true meaning of the word, which is what it was supposed to have been, or was before all of the witch trials and how the wise women were treated. So that kind of feels where, although I found myself keep saying kind of. So there may be an element of you still feeling a little bit unsure, or this feeling quite new. So there's an element of kind of hesitating and not feeling completely sure about it. It's like those tentative first steps and not being sure whether you're seeing things as they are, or whether it's this element of something being too good to be true, kind of a thing. Or not trusting your judgment just yet. If you've been around people, because of working on your boundaries, if you've spent a lot of time around people who are energy vampires, or they are kind of, I don't want to say narcissistic, but have almost those narcissistic tendencies of wanting to take without giving anything back, you're starting to find that balance, but you may also still be questioning your own judgment around it and feeling a little bit unsure of whether you are seeing these things for what they really are, or whether you're overreacting to something. Because when we start to work with our boundaries, because if we haven't had them before and haven't had them in place, it can be really hard to kind of judge whether you're being reasonable with these boundaries, because you're going to come up against a lot of resistance due to how you've behaved in the past and how people have treated you in the past, and they're going to push back against that because they aren't going to be happy about not getting their needs met, and they've always been able to come to you, and you've bent over backwards or pretzeled yourself into this position where you've overgiven and not received back, and they're used to that behavior from you. So it could be that you are questioning whether these are healthy boundaries or whether you're overreacting. If that's the case, the best thing I can say, and this is me speaking from my own experience, is to be gentle with yourself and have compassion. You're not going to get it right every time. None of us do, especially when it's something that is so new, and it can feel like we're overreacting. But trust your gut instinct. If something doesn't feel right to you, then walk away from it, put some distance there, follow the things that feel good, and at all times, we're going to mess up. It's part of being human. You're not going to get everything right first time. Compassion is key when you're working with these sorts of things and doing shadow work, because I associate Baba Yaga with shadow work. She's one of the dark goddesses that we can work with when we're doing shadow work, and there's a couple of books that are coming to mind. I don't know what it is this time, but pile 1 had books come through as well, and now I'm getting books for you as well. So there is, I can't remember what it's called though. I will put it up underneath, so that it will flash up for you to see. but there is a book that is all to do with Baba Yaga, and it's got stories of Baba Yaga. I don't actually own it. It's on my wish list. And I can't remember who it's by either. But that might be of interest to you if you're interested in working with Baba Yaga. And there's another one called, oops, Daisy, sorry, that was my foot. I think I knocked the plug. They're like, balance between light and dark. Reclaim Your Dark Goddess is another book, which covers all of the dark goddesses, which aren't negative, they aren't evil, bad, although they may have been seen that way at some point, but they are all to do with working with our shadow aspects. They aren't necessarily easy goddesses to work with, because it's all inner shadow work and looking at those, I'm making a mess of this, looking at those inner hidden aspects of ourselves to heal them, because of bringing them to light and being able to sit with them. It isn't easy, but they are goddesses that can help you work with those aspects of yourself if it's something that you are interested in, because of working with your boundaries and things like that. But trust yourself, trust your own inner knowing for answers to things at the moment, because that feels like it's something that you are working on and growing, so continue to do that. Okay, so Spirit, what else is there for my pile twos? What else do they need to know about the rest of this year? 5 of Cups. What else, please? 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Swords. Yeah, there's a lot of endings and conclusions going on at the moment. It's like you're at a tipping point. There's a need to focus on the good, so you may find gratitude journaling to be helpful. But with both the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords, it's like there is a physical and mental ending happening, or going to be happening, in this cycle that you're in. It's like an ending and conclusion and healing, because things can't get any worse than the 10 of Swords here, being stabbed in the back. But it doesn't necessarily mean that someone is going to stab you in the back. It's just that the chips are down and they can't get any worse than what they are, and it's a matter of healing, picking yourself back up to then start afresh on something new. And because of it being Swords, it's all about mental energy and how you're seeing things. So this could be working through limiting self-beliefs and any belief patterns or patterns of behaviour that have stemmed from your childhood or past experiences. It's about healing those and releasing them. And with the 10 of Pentacles here, it's all about the home life and really kind of focusing on that happy, stable, abundant home life. If that isn't something that you have already, then it's something that is falling into place this year by focusing on your healing and things that are going right for you, because it may not seem it right now. There may be things that you aren't sure of, things that you know that you are going to have to look at that aren't going to be easy. What else, please, Spirit? Hanged Man. Yeah, gaining a new perspective, seeing things differently. But this can be about the your boundaries and compassion, as you're following your intuition and gut instinct. Yeah, and the moon, things being illuminated that you may not have seen before. There's an element of that coming through in pile 1 as well. So if you were drawn to that pile, then there could be a kind of crossover or message there for you. The sun. Wow. There's that real sense of duality there. It's like the Baba Yaga energy coming through into the tarot as well, with the moon and the sun both coming out. So there is that element of balance between the masculine and feminine as well as things being illuminated, and the things that truly make you happy are what are being illuminated, because they may have been at odds because of the, what have we got on the back of the deck there? 7 of Wands. Yeah, being able to stand your ground and have those boundaries in place. The faces in the sun and the moon here, they're not looking at each other because of the order that they've come out in. So there may have been an element of not having balance between those elements of yourself, and maybe not wanting to see the things that are hidden and shedding light on them. But they're going to be coming into balance with this Hanged Man here and gaining that new insight in the healing work that you're doing this year. It's not necessarily a conscious healing. It may just be something where you are, because it feels very much like it's more of a shadow work than an inner child work, and more of a spiritual type energy to it. But we're going to look at the specific areas of life for you. So we have a tarot and oracle card for each section, and we're going to be looking at your love and relationships, career and studies, and spirituality, to see what's going on for the rest of the year for you. So we have choose a new direction and the 4 of Cups. So there's something in your relationships that you may find that you are going to be going in a different direction for the rest of this year. There is a sense of melancholy and just kind of almost a feeling of being stagnant. Things may have been stagnant for quite some time, regardless of your situation, whether you are in a relationship or whether you are single. But there is something about you're going to be making different choices, going in different directions. That doesn't necessarily mean if you are in a happy, committed relationship, and this isn't necessarily a negative, stagnant energy. It could be that you've been together for so long that everything just flows and everything just works. But you may find that you are going to start doing something different together this year, the rest of this year, something new, that it's going to take you in a new direction, or you may be moving to a new home. Something that is going to help you to start over in some way. And if you're single, then it could be that you are choosing to do things differently in your dating life, getting out there in a different way, going to different places, or picking up something new that is going to lead you to have those new experiences. But yeah, it feels like it's all about changing things up and going in a new direction, regardless of the semantics of the situation in your love and relationships. So for your career and studies, we have unlikely and Page of Swords. That's interesting. So when it comes to your career and studies, why unlikely, Spirit? There's there's a clarity coming in. Something that you didn't, that's okay, yeah. So something that you didn't think was likely to happen, or that wouldn't pan out how you wanted it to, and it's felt like a very unlikely situation, then there's a clarity coming through on that. Something that is kind of falling into place. There is also an element of, with the way that, hold on, let me pick these up so I can show you properly. So with the unlikely card, there's this rope here that's being cut through, and it's making me think of cord cutting. So things that aren't serving you and things that are draining your energy and pulling on those energetic cords and strings that are draining you. That could be part of what it is that you are working on with your boundaries that's draining you. It could be work, your studies, and the way that this Page of Swords is running forwards towards it with his sword ready and raised, it's like that page is ready to finish cutting that cord and stepping away from what it is that is draining your energy. So if there is something around your work, career and study that has been draining your energy, then it could be that you are walking away from that, finding a new career, a new course of study. Just, it's that thing of changing things up as you are working on your own boundaries and what it is that's serving you and what's draining you, and moving away from that. It looks like you're going to be implementing quite a few changes, with choose a new direction in your love and relationships, and then this cord cutting in your career as well. But yeah, there's a lot of changes coming in. And then for spirituality, we have reconsider. You're shaking everything up, aren't you? And the Queen of Swords. So what's this reconsider about, please, Spirit? It feels like something that you will be revisiting. It may be something that you practiced or were interested in at a younger age. But you've grown a lot since then, and there is a lot of mental clarity that you have gained, and mastery over your mind when it comes to your spirituality. So it may be something that you are reconsidering going back to. There may be some kind of practice or something that you are being drawn back to reconsider. And there's something about how this moon is red that is making me think of strawberry moon or blood moon. And I can't remember exactly when that is, so I will put it up underneath. I will double check the dates, because the dates may be significant to you. Also something possibly about Stonehenge if you're in the UK, something about stone monoliths that could be significant to you in your spirituality as well for the remainder of this year. Something there could be somewhere that you want to visit that is spiritually significant to you, or something about the energy of somewhere like that would be very healing and beneficial to you. So I think that's all I have for you on those. So we're going to use some oracle cards now, just to get some final messages for you. Let's see what Spirit has for you for advice. So what advice do you have for my pile twos, please, Spirit? Advice for my pile twos going forward through the year. And we have, this moment is the foundation for all future moments. Open your mind and receive each moment as a new and exciting possibility. Yeah, it's that forward momentum and starting over again. And kind of starting from where you are. It doesn't matter from where you've been, what you've done. You can only start from this moment. You can't go back and change anything. And just stay present and focus on what you can change from this moment forwards. What else, please, Spirit? Can I get one more? And we have, now is the time to start doing what's good for you. Don't wait any longer. Life has an expiration date. Yeah, it's that living for other people thing. And people pleasing. And focusing on your own well-being. And on the back of the deck we have, we attract what we are. Therefore, dreaming is a journey within. What inner beliefs are still restricting you, putting you down, and making excuses that hold you back from your dreams? Yeah, it's that inner work and shadow work again, isn't it? That's kind of coming through. And I've got one more deck that I wanted to use for you, for your advice. Right, what else, please, Spirit? What advice do you have for my pearl keys, please? And we have journey. It's time to prepare for a journey. It may be impromptu or planned. Either way, make sure you're ready when the time comes. Pack your passport now. Yeah, it's that, all of those fresh starts that you're having, that you're implementing, and with those boundaries and starting new. It feels like there's going to be a lot of changes going on for you. And we have friendship. Fairies and humans alike need friends. Now is the time to seek out those who will support and encourage you on your journey to fulfill your dreams. Yeah, there are people around you, pile 2, who will support you. It's just a matter of practicing discernment and knowing who they are. But through self-compassion, you're going to know who they are anyway, intuitively. So, and on the back of the deck we have believe in magic. Open your eyes and see the magic that's all around in nature. The fairy of the northern lights says you are a part of nature, so you are magical too. And it's that thing of how we are all interconnected, because energetically we are. There are those threads that I was talking about earlier with the cord cutting. We are all joined energetically with everything around us, whether it is the people that we act with, down to our pets, our possessions. There are vibrations and energies to everything, regardless of whether it's an inanimate object or a person. Everything's interconnected, and we are part of that magic and that energy and that network. And yeah, it's just really kind of believing that anything is possible and we are all interconnected. Although we are separate beings, we're still interconnected energetically. But that is about all that I have for you, pile 2. Thank you ever so much for letting me read for you, and I really appreciate you being here. I hope that you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this. Please feel free, if you liked this and you made it this far, to like, comment or subscribe, by interacting and letting me know how you found the reading, or even just liking. If you don't want to comment, that's completely fine, because it just kind of gives me feedback on the channel and what readings you're enjoying and those sorts of things. So, but regardless, I hope that you will come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, my pile 3s. Welcome to your reading. So firstly, I'm going to pop that on there, but I'd like to apologise if it's discombobulating or anything. it's been a couple of days since I did the beginning of the video and the last two piles, so my nails are different, so I do apologise for that. But I'm going to pop your tarot to one side for a second, because we are going to look at some oracle cards I've already shuffled for you, and these are going to represent your current energy or situation, and then we'll use the tarot to get a bit more information on it, and then we're going to look at some other cards which are going to be specific areas going forwards over the rest of the year. So we have Resilience with Waning Gibbous and number 21, and we have Storm Angel with Collision of Beliefs, Styles, Attitudes and Energies with number 35, and we also have Trust, and we have Guru Ramdas with number 27 with Humility, Spiritual Practice and Elevation, I think that is. So at the moment, there's quite a lot kind of going on for you at the moment. There's a lot of, there could be conflict either with other people, or there are things that you are beginning to question within yourself to do with your spiritual practices or belief systems. They could be things that are limiting self-beliefs, or things that you have been carrying around with you for quite some time, and you're only just kind of starting to see them in a different light. But there is an element of trusting your own intuition and kind of discerning as to who to trust and who not to trust when it comes to any information that you share with others as well, because of there's a potential, if you're just getting into spirituality and it is something that is very different from how you've been brought up or your family and household that you're in, then it could be that if you were to vocalize these beliefs to other people, then there would be a clash of some sort, or a misunderstanding, or it wouldn't be accepted in some way. But you are being very resilient about it, and knowing who to share that information with and who not to, and knowing that there is an element of trust in yourself and your own inner knowing. But yeah, that's the general thing that's going on, because there's a change happening. And it could be that it's one of those that feels like an inside job. It's something that is changing within you, but the change has to start within before it can be reflected in the outside world and in how we show up and interact and things like that. The shift will start to happen anyway as you make those internal changes, but it's not so much about an external thing at the moment. It's not at that point. You may also find that you are being drawn to do things like meditation work, and being of service to others as well. Could be something that you're being drawn to. But it could also include yoga, anything to do with higher consciousness, spirituality, and kind of being a light for others. It feels like the changes that you're going through at the moment, they're going to lead you to being of service, a greater spiritual service to other people in some way, regardless of how that looks for you, because you don't have to actually be doing anything. Like with Guru Ramdas, I'm going to say that wrong at some point, but his work was through music and poetry, that he was sharing his insight and inspiration. So it's not necessarily that you are teaching others something directly. It could be that you are creating something or doing something and just kind of being that light, because then you're having that ripple effect out into the world or into people around you. If they're seeing a change in you, then you may find that there are different people being drawn to you. So there may be new people coming in that you wouldn't have met without making these internal changes, because the way that we are within ourselves, it acts as that beacon and attracts the people to us that are in our lives. So when we change internally, how we interact and show up changes as well, even though we may not be particularly conscious of it at the time. There's also a small chance for some of you that you may have found that you've been in quite a lot of arguments recently, or there's a real kind of clash of personalities going on in your life right now. But we'll see. We'll ask, actually, because I'm going to get into the tarot now. So, Spirit, for my pile threes, what do they need to know about this clash? If they're having any arguments with anyone or any fallouts, what do they need to know about this situation? What do they need to know, Spirit? And we have the Two of Wands and the Hanged Man. Yeah, there's the disagreements and things, if you're having them, it's about the choices and change of perspective that you're going through at the moment. Because if you are having disagreements with people, then it's a choice whether you continue having that disagreement or whether you kind of walk away from it, and how you view the disagreements, because we can't change how someone else responds to us or reacts to information that we share. The only thing that we can change is how we're presenting that information, or how much information we're sharing, and how we react and respond to them not agreeing with us. So there is an element of choice, and if you're finding it very difficult, then it's a matter of trying to reframe the situation in your mind and how you're seeing it. Not to say that you have to agree with them and bend to their will, because that isn't going to serve you, and it isn't a time for that. It's a time to stay in your own truth and authenticity. But that doesn't mean that it can't be handled in a way that will not smooth things over, but make things a little more easy to handle. Because looking at this Two of Wands with the two, I think they're pistols that he's holding there, it's kind of making me think of what's it called when they're in a western, and is it a shootout? When they both have to draw their pistols, and it's like whoever fires first is the one that wins. It's that kind of an energy that it feels like you've possibly been in, or been reacting from, like you're trying to defend yourself before you've really been attacked, possibly as well. Because we have a tendency to kind of expect the worst. So, yeah, there's an element of being mindful of that. Or it may be that you're having to defend yourself because of the situation that you're in right now. But with this Hanged Man here, because the Hanged Man is normally upside down, yeah, there's an element of keeping your cool in the situation. Don't lose your head over it. Don't allow yourself to be dragged into arguments and situations that aren't going to serve your inner peace. Know when to walk away. So what else do they need to know about the situation right now? Or going forwards, how can they navigate this? That would be better actually. How can my pile threes navigate this situation going forwards? We have the Four of Cups. Yeah, knowing when to rest. Take that time to heal and look for the good as well. And we have the Page of Cups. Yeah, it's a time of tapping into your emotions, and it almost feels kind of like it's something new and starting afresh, because the cards that came out, I think it was this one, talks about a fresh start. It's almost like a tower kind of card, where things are being broken down and things that aren't serving you anymore are being removed. But there is an opportunity to focus on your emotional well-being, because it's going to help you to navigate this situation going forwards, and being able to not worry so much about what it is that isn't working and that's being removed from your life, because those things, they aren't meant to stay with you going forwards. There is better coming. This is just a transition where you are clearing out old energies and letting go of resistance and things that don't serve you, whether it is via meditation and spiritual practices, and trusting your own gut intuition to lead you, because your emotions are going to lead you forwards on this path. They are what enable you to know what it is that feels good and what doesn't, and it's just a matter of following those feel-good feelings and emotions. So Spirit, how are you helping and supporting my pile threes through this situation? And we have the World. Yeah, they're bringing about it's almost like a closing out of this chapter. And then on the back of the deck we have the Moon. So yeah, they're helping to close things out, helping to illuminate things that you may not have been able to see before, and whether it be to do with potentially trusting the wrong people, or learning to trust yourself. It's going to be different for all of you, I think, depending on the semantics of your situation. But yeah, there's that element of much deeper emotions and intuition and awareness coming in via Spirit, supporting you with this, so that you can close this cycle out, because this isn't an energy that you are meant to be in long term. It's something that it's transitionary and it will move out. You won't stay stagnant in this. It's just a period of change, and that can be quite an upheaval and an uncomfortable kind of energy to be in. But it's not going to last forever. So yeah, now we're going to look at particular areas of your life going forwards. So this will be for the remainder of the year, and we have an oracle card and tarot card for each, which are going to represent love and relationships, career and studies, and spirituality, and then we'll get some advice afterwards as well. So we have Let Go and the Tower. So it could be that because you are having a clash of beliefs, maybe trust has been broken in your relationship, or a relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can also be family, friends, anyone that you're close to. But because you have a Tower moment going on, through the rest of the year. It is that process of letting go, allowing things to crumble away and break away as and when they're meant to. Because if you resist that letting go process, then it makes things a lot harder and it's more of a struggle with the resistance there. And it can make things a lot more painful as well by not being able to let go. And with the butterfly here on this let go card, it's a time of transformation. It's linking in with everything else that's going on with you right now. And the full moon. So yeah, emotions could be high right now as well when it comes to your relationships and love. I might get some more actually to see what's going on with that, but let's do the rest of these first. So when it comes to your career and studies, you're going in the right direction. And we have the Two of Swords. So yeah, it's all to do with planning. You're already going in the right direction. It's just a matter of keep planning, keep putting things into place, and just don't overthink it too much, because you might end up twisting yourself up in knots mentally. You don't need to have all of the details in place. You're already going in the right direction. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, because you're on track already. So there isn't really anything to worry about there. Just keep going as you are, pile 3. Just going to move those up. And then for your spirituality, we have not the right time and the Queen of Cups. So why is it not the right time, Spirit? If you are... It feels like there's an element of divine timing going on here, depending on your emotional well-being and following your intuition. You may know instinctively that something isn't the right time yet to take action on. It's making me think of if you wanted to do some kind of some kind of business that was spiritually based. There's something about running retreats that's coming to mind, although I know that it's not your career and studies, but there's an element of that kind of coming through to say that it's not quite time yet. Things are lining up because you are going in the right direction. But if you are working in something that is spiritual based, then there is an element of there's still some kind of growth taking place at the moment. For some of you though, this feels like it could be that you don't feel like you have time. So it's not the right time to start doing something new, is what you're thinking in your head. But follow your intuition on that. When the time is right, then you will have enough resources in you to be able to then carve out the time that you need to be able to do these things. So I'm going to use this oracle deck to get some clarifiers for you. So, Spirit, can we get some clarifiers, please, for the love and relationship situation that's going on? No one is perfect. That is why pencils have erasers. Anything else, please? Attract what you want by being who you want. Yeah. There's kind of that element of change that you're going through at the moment. So it may be that you, because of the internal changes that are happening, things may not go smoothly in your relationships because you are changing as a person. And no one is perfect. So the disagreements and things that you may be having, it's just part of human nature, because we can either grow together or we grow apart. And if you aren't currently in a relationship, like a romantic relationship, and you want to attract a relationship in a romantic partner, then it could be that there is a need to let go of someone being perfect. Or, not to say that you shouldn't have boundaries and self-value, because they're really important, but letting go of the hows, whens and whys kind of a thing, and whens, and just letting go of things working out exactly how you want them to, because you can't micromanage things, because then if you're trying to force it, there will come a point where the universe will step in and cause one of these tower moments to break everything down. The way to really attract what it is that you want in a partner is to be who you want to date. So it's a matter of, would you date yourself right now in the way that you're living your life and how you're showing up? So there's an element of that coming in as well. And can we get some clarifiers, please, for the work and study section? And we have, those who are brave are free. What else, please? And without a vision, your future. Without a vision for your future, you will always return to your past. And I love that that's come out over the Two of Swords. So yes, it's just a matter of getting clear and being brave. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Because if you continue to refocus on what you don't want, you're just looking back at the past and your past experiences rather than looking to the future and what you're trying to create over the next few months. And lastly, for spirituality, please, can we get some clarifiers for the remainder of the year? Children can see magic because they look for it. What else, please? And we have, I am who I am. And happiness doesn't depend upon who you are or what you have. It depends on what you think. So yeah, there's very much an element of continuing to work on yourself and your spirituality, and being able to see it with an eye of wonder and childlike curiosity as well, that will likely be coming in for you. So I know that it's been a bit, the other two piles, it seemed a lot more clear cut than what this one has. Rather than this being predictive, it feels more like what you're going to be working on through the rest of the year. But we'll get you some advice. I've got a couple of oracle card decks that I've been using for that. So, Spirit, what messages do you have for my pile threes, please, going forwards? What messages of support and encouragement do you have for my pile threes? And today's the best day to start pursuing your dream. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year or when you retire. Today. Focus your thoughts and intentions towards your dreams today, and you're already on your way. What else, please? What wants to come out? Miracles happen all the time. Open your mind to miracles and you will start experiencing miracles, miraculous coincidences in your life. And on the back of the deck we have, what would you need to give up in order to achieve your dream? Yeah, it's making those changes to be who you want to be more than anything else, and continuing to work on yourself the rest of the year, because that really feels like what it is that you're doing at the moment and going to be doing for the rest of the year. What else, please, Spirit? What other guidance do you have for my pile threes? And we have protect your dreams. You are the guardian of your precious dreams and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you are ready to release them. Yeah, it's that thing of practicing discernment again. Knowing who to tell what and who to trust. What else, please? And we have purity. Always trust in the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart, and within it you will find the answer to your question. It's that Queen of Cups energy, following your intuition, gut instinct, and your happiness, your bliss. And on the back of the deck we have go outside. It's time to go outside. Tune into the powerful peace of nature. Wherever you are, and feel at least oh my goodness, what is wrong with my brain today? I'm so sorry. Let's try that again. Go outside. It's time to go outside. Tune in to the powerful peace of nature. Wherever you are, and feel at one with your habitat. Get there in the end. So yeah, that may be something that is quite restorative for you and enable you to find that inner peace if you're struggling with internal conflict as well. But thank you ever so much for letting me read for you. That's where I'm going to leave your reading, and I hope that you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. Thank you ever so much for being here. If you feel like it, please feel free to like, comment or subscribe, as it lets me know what you like or don't like and what direction to go in with the channel. And yeah, regardless, I hope that you will come back and see me again soon. Bye.